r/ask Reddit. What is incorrectly perceived as a sign of intelligence? Being in charge. Always maintain a healthy skepticism for anyone claiming to be authority, at least till they prove themselves capable. If someone's in an authoritative position, it should be others that praise them and say how good they are, not themselves. Arrogance portrayed as confidence. A truly intelligent person knows that there's things they don't know, and keeps trying to learn. An idiot refuses to acknowledge that there's anything they don't know, and fears doing anything that might prove it. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I'm living in China right now and everyone keeps calling me intelligent as I'm bald and left-handed. Apparently bald equals intelligent now. The heat that smart people's brains give off burns off the hair. Cornering people in arguments with bullying tactics and acting like it means they won. The people that say "oh sweetie" in an argument. Or do your research. Silence. I've been told so many times that I'm thoughtful and a deep thinker, but really I can't figure out what to say, lol. My girlfriend thinks my silence is me thinking hard or letting her sort her emotions out, but it's really me trying to think of anything to say, but I'm a dumbass. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than say something and remove all doubt. Even better if they think you're smart, lol. Scoring an A when I was 14. Scoring an E when I was 24, and at a rave. Giving an O to a woman. Glasses edit. Thank you for my first gold on my cake day. It's actually a sad story, but the Khmer Rouge murdered a number of people with glasses in Cambodia because they perceived them as intellectuals. An intellectual under Pol Pot meant being able to read, which, apparently, was a huge threat to his agrarian regime. Having money. I know someone who is fairly wealthy. He has worked with several billionaires and other wealthy people. He told me that luck is a much more important factor than people realize. Of course some people work hard, but most are just exceptionally lucky. Also, 9 out of 10 times they are a-holes. There's a lot of research that supports his claim. The actual trait that tracks with wealth the closest is charisma. Edit. To clarify how statistics work. Being charismatic doesn't mean you will be wealthy. Being wealthy doesn't mean you are charismatic. But if you could pick one skill to increase your chance of being wealthy, studies indicate it's probably charisma. Solving a Rubik's Cube. True. I learned how to do it quite fast once I looked on Google. It's just consistent practice until you memorize it. My patience doesn't last long enough to read through the instructions. I did about 5 turns and gave up. A cromulent vocabulary. This embiggens me. I chortled gleefully at this riposte. Strong opinions. Held with confidence. 80% of podcasts just screamed out in unison. Yeah, 80% sounds like about the right number. Maybe even 85%. Having an opinion on literally everything. Especially having the need to share the opinions with everyone they encounter. One of my biggest pet peeves. And on the flip side, immediate respect goes out to anyone who is able to say they don't know enough about the topic to have a solid opinion. I once had a discussion approaching argument with a guy. It was leaning very much towards argument until I happened to mention that my lack of personal experience on the topic meant that I couldn't answer all of his questions fully. He was asking in sincerity. He immediately replied that my admission of ignorance made him respect my opinion more. That made me respect him more. It's that mutual respect that enables us to hear each other out when debating the many issues we tend to disagree on. And thank God, because he is smart AF and could probably destroy me if we threw civility out the window. A college degree. Yep, I have a degree and I'm ducking stupid AF. I have a master's and I'm the dumbest person. Wealth edit. Thank you for the gold and silver. I am so rich. Therefore I am smart. SMRT smart. Dude, we see stupid people in the news all the time that have more money and assets than we'll ever see. Millionaire influencer makes me lose faith in so much. Using big words or complicated language when trying to explain something or talking about a difficult subject. The smartest people can actually make it sound simple. I had a history and civ teacher have us teach a mock lesson as a final grade because if you truly understand something you can help someone else understand it. Real talk though. The absolute best way to learn a topic is to teach it to someone else. The use of big words. You know the ones. I was roused in the pre-dawn hours, a time I usually set aside for self-pontification, by the voluminous caterwauling of my quadruped-edged feline domicile companion No You Gimp. The cat woke you up. Edit. LOL, I am cracking the duck up at the chain of answers in this. You'll be crazy and I love it. But that's still more intelligent than the people who use big words and have no idea what they are saying. I have woken from my dreamscape before the dawn as my canine meowing companion has asked for its daily seculars of tuna. Double quote. The trick to sounding smart is using big words that nobody around you knows the meaning of. You'll photosynthesize them into thinking you know what you're talking about. Talking fast even if you're saying the dumbest shit. The Shapiro effect. The trick is to say enough dumb things that the person you're talking to gets confused as to where to even begin. Being Asian. Community had a funny play on this. Hey math club, I'm Asian. You Asian? That's pretty racist, man. That wasn't a no. That's homophobic. https://www.youtube.com watch v equals and gklf8f clove that bit. Sorry for the low res. Being able to memorize. Having a good memory is definitely helpful and often shows intelligence, but just being able to spout facts does not mean you understand them or can think about things critically. This is genuinely infuriating. I'm an engineer and have a lot of colleagues that can dance circles around me with formulas and definitions but can't design their way out of a cardboard box. I look like an idiot because I can never remember the correct terminology for things because it isn't used colloquially, and I have to Google conversions. It honestly takes both kinds, but the people who can shit random facts tend to be perceived as smarter, typically. Age. Actually, every toddler I've ever met was a ducking moron. That's what they want you to think. Being emotionally stunted. High IQ does not equal low EQ. You can be a dong and stupid and you can be smart and charismatic. It's not one or the other. I think a lot of people believe in the myth of natural justice karma. They think if someone is smart they must be lacking in other areas. Sort of like if everyone is a character with a fixed amount of base stats that can just be allocated differently from person to person. The reality is that smart people are also often very well spoken, confident, wealthy, and attractive, and dumb people don't get free points in these areas either. In real life, we roll for stats. Unfortunately, we don't get to use a standard array or point by. Most people think someone intelligent is good at basically everything, when there's different types of intelligence. I suck at basically everything. Now Neil. You're good at sucking. Being labeled gifted at a young age. Teens having basic adult understanding become geniuses to their parents. I was surprised when I learned that knowledge isn't necessarily correlated to intelligence. I met a lifelong academic who knew damn near everything about her topic, but just the facts. It's like she was a walking encyclopedia, could cough up any info about her field, but she couldn't really process it that well, or draw conclusions, or apply it to a different topic. It's hard to explain. She had a nice 2TB SSD drive full of info in her head, but she had a substandard CPU. Since then I've met several people like that, all academics, but I'm not sure that has anything to do with it. It really is interesting the way different people work. Coming from a TTRPG background, it's like the way intelligence and wisdom are separate. Specific knowledge and common sense are entirely divorced. I will say, as someone who works closely with academic experts, this is common in academics. Many of the smartest people I've ever met are also kind of dumb. I think that's okay, though. There is absolutely a place for it, especially in R&D and academia in general. If you come across a new thing, the walking infodump is your best source of insight on it. Maybe someone else interprets all that together and draws the conclusions. But Dr. Incredibly specific human Google is good to have around. Using a lot of unnecessarily long or big words to express yourself, especially when it comes to teaching someone or conveying your own ideas. Oftentimes the best written works are those that are concise and simple to understand, not ones that confuse the reader with how convoluted they are. This is a big issue in research articles and papers. In second year university, we had an assignment to dissect and review a research article, and it was so difficult to read. I had to read each sentence over multiple times to get the gist of it because of how long the sentences were and how many thesaurusized words there seemed to be. I thought that it must have been a gap in my understanding that made it so hard to read. Later in university I reread the article and realized that it was just poor writing. Edit. Many repliers have noted that the precise use of big words is oftentimes necessary and actually preferred, as such words have usually been coined to helpfully, technically and specifically describe the concept in question. An example from u/haha01357 was how, in certain circumstances for instance, it might not be the best to use the term heart attack instead of the more technical term myocardial infarction. I totally agree. The issue I'm trying to highlight is verbosity, the use of more words, or more complicated words, than necessary. I think of the articles I've read that have used a synonym for their main topic 5 times in a given paragraph. The cherry on top is that all the synonyms they use have slight but undeniable differences in definitions from their intended word. I'm talking about using words and phrases for the sake of filling space, about mindlessly parroting phrases commonly heard but not entirely understood, to the consequence of a vague jumble of sentences that fail to capture the original idea, if there was a clear one in the first place at all. Open bracket. And yes, I do see the irony of my post, such a long-winded comment just to disparage writing that is imprecise. Alas, being concise and precise is still a work in progress for me, haha. Monica, what was this sentence originally? Joey, oh, they're warm, nice people with big hearts. Chandler, and that became, they're humid, prepossessing homo sapiens with full-sized aortic pumps. You know what? You don't need a thesaurus. Just write from here, your full-sized aortic pump. Knowing lots of digits of pi, it just proves that you took the time to memorize something useless. No one will ever need to remember more than 3 or 4 digits. I feel attacked. Learned 50 digits years ago and they're still stuck there. I learned about 60 digits for a contest in middle school. Here I am 25 years later and 30 digits are ingrained in my brain. I won the contest though. Thanks to these TV shows, they think that a person with memory to recall everything is an intelligent person. Edit. I do agree that intelligent people need good memory, but the reverse isn't true. I've seen people regurgitate everything they learned from books in exams but cannot comprehend a problem which uses the principles that they memorized. To be fair, so do schools. Good memory is like 80% of doing well in school tbh. As long as you can regurgitate the information you can do well in exams. I've met some very intelligent people that have terrible factual memory. Americans often attribute Brits who speak in English accents as smart, but minorities who speak in other accents, and speak multiple languages, as not as smart. Brits who speak in certain accents. There's a lot of prejudice about accents. A Brummie and someone from the home counties sound very different and are often received very differently. Die-hard Rick and Morty fans' opinions of themselves. The ability to speak. They really were dongs to Jar Jar. Dude was running away from an invading army and they gave him a hard time for doing it awkwardly. People seem to think if you are rich with a good job you must be smart. Generally speaking, I've only met one rich person I would consider smart. The rest? Ooh off. I seriously wonder how some of them pass grad school. Knowledge equals intelligence. Talking fast and the whole persona of Andrew Tate. As a transcriptionist, I've found that most smart people who talk fast don't actually say any more. They just pepper their sentences with lots of repeated phrases, filler words, and other padding. Some of the smartest people I've transcribed actually speak in a very slow and measured way, because they're actually thinking about what they're saying and how to convey it efficiently, and also wait to see if the person they're speaking to understands them. Talking fast, aka the Ben Shapiro technique. Being quiet. Some people are quiet because they don't know what to say. It's better to be quiet and have people think you're intelligent, than it is to speak and prove the contrary. Being opinionated. Being a doctor or having a PhD, there are a lot of really stupid doctors out there. College education from recognizable school name. Being loud and confident no matter what. Wealth. Some rich people are 3/4 useless and as dumb as my dog's favorite sock. But wealth looks like success, so people assume it because they are intelligent enough to make money. Grades. The idea that there is a single measure of intelligence. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.